Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hi, this is Rico. In my opinion, this upcoming season has to be when Watson finally gives this organization a positive return on their massive investment they put into him. All the backlash the organization received when they acquired his services. I mean, I hate to say it, but not even an injury is going to deter me from admitting that this was a massive failure if he doesn't produce. I know I'm just some random fan, but I've been defending him since day one. And I just want to be right. This 2025 season is when, in my opinion, Watson will take this organization and fan base to new heights we've rarely seen in the modern era. Thanks. Go Browns.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Let's welcome in John Macri from Pro Football Focus, co-host, PFF Fantasy Football Podcast. John, you can understand the fan base's their desire for Watson to deliver. I will say, remember, they weren't the only team that went after him. There were, I believe it was 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the way I look at it is a little different. I'd rather they swing for the fences than not.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a good way to look at it too, because obviously being such an important position. But it's funny, I wrote up an article this week for PFF.com, and it's fantasy related, but it does kind of relate to this conversation, because I was talking about three potential dark horse fantasy QB1s for this season, and Watson made that list as kind of my long shot for the three. But for me, like, he wouldn't have made that list if I didn't think he was capable of bouncing back in a big way, right? Because we've absolutely seen it from him, where he was a top 10 quarterback in the league. And, it feels like long ago, but for a 29-year-old quarterback, that's still an ability that's well within reach of getting back to again. And for him, I think there's a lot of different ways that he can achieve that, right? We've seen the high end passing ability, and as much as that's dipped, we'd love a bounce back there, but he also brings a level of like dynamism as a dual threat quarterback as well, where his tendency to run and what he could potentially provide as a runner hasn't really changed all that much from those elite seasons in Houston. And we also know there's a lot of potential in this Browns offense under Kevin Stefanski and with the pieces they have in place, which includes Amari Cooper, David Njoku, a top five offensive line that was missing both starting offensive tackles last year for much of the season. And then we'll see how, healthy Nick Chubb is as well. But there's a lot of ways that he can find success this season. Obviously, first and foremost, he'll have to stay healthy and play the full season. But as far as things that are within his control, there's a lot of potential here still for Watson and the Browns on this offense.
When you look at Watson and what he did well when he was with Houston and made it to those Pro Bowl, what kind of here's where I'm going with this. They get Ken Dorsey, who has coached mobile quarterbacks. By all accounts, they're likely to play more shotgun. By all accounts, they're likely to play more 11 personnel, so 3 wide. They're trying to do the things that Deshaun Watson did well when he was the quarterback of the Texans, and they didn't really do that the first couple of years.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of getting back to, his style of football as opposed to, trying to fit him in an offense where maybe he isn't the best fit. So they're still figuring that out, right? And they've only had 12 games, I think, over the past 2 years to try to figure that out. So it's not really enough time. So, that's not even a full season combined. So getting another off season here and yeah, looking at those types of things, like you said, working out a shotgun and stuff like that makes a difference in being able to fit in and gel with the offense and gel with the coaching staff and everything that they want him to do. So it's a matter of time. I think, I think they all the pieces are kind of there for him. It's just a matter of putting it all together, and they've invested in him, and they're doing everything they can to make it happen.